The powers that be have been messing with our people's spirituality through the fake fads that are forced on our communities. It works for all people in different ways, not just for one race or creed or generalization. The spiritual dominance of our great black men in the Western world inspires all, because they haven't lost their certainty of spirituality. Because of the recent hardships that we have had to endure as a people in modern times. This system has persistently been crushing the teaching of the true and living God in us all since the birth of civilization. It's hard to obey corrupt and misguided. They hate it when that happens on your phone.
It's Conez and Doe. Fuck. The words there of a young community organizer from the south side of Chicago, Barack Hussein Obama, in 2002. Giving a speech to local activists.
He used to sound like he had a lot more charisma.
Yeah, a lot more shit to say. He's a bit burnt out these days, but you know, Barry's doing what he can.
So what's the haps, young chap?
Not much. Welcome to the Clans and Doe Hatecast.
Yeah. Last week was a bit out of control.
It's all the news that's fit to print, and a lot of it that isn't. But no, this is podcasting. Newspapers are dead, and this is the media of the future. So thank you for joining us. Last week's episode was a one that ties in a couple of things.
It was pretty funny.
If I can just mention briefly, is that Marine Le Pen, leader of the far-right National Front in France, has been visiting Quebec City and Montreal, and she said, this is what she said today. They asked her what she thought of the local Canadian politics, and she said that too many people in Canada are practicing CareBearPolitics. So there's a little nod to a couple of themes.
Well, Canada do smoke a lot of fucking guns.
That's true. But I think Marine Le Pen should contact the Conez and Doe show, because we've worked out a way to synthesize both the Care Bears and far-right racist ideals. So.
Into one form of politics, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like...
I don't know how coherent it is, but... What do we call it?
It'd be like a country that exists, like, only of Care Bears, but it sort of has a socialist agenda within that national system, but I don't know what you want to call it as a combination of those things.
Yeah, some sort of social... Yeah.
Get touchy, you know? Some
sort of social nationalism, right?
Nazi Care Bears.
Well, I mean, I suppose the USSR was more of a Care Bear utopia. They would have been sickened by the sight of those plump little degenerate beings, don't you reckon? The Nazis?
Shooting rainbows all over their disgusting grey shit everywhere.
Well, that was the Nazis' idea of Lebensborn and shit. Shooting rainbows all over like Poland and Ukraine and shit, right? We're just expanding. What do they call it? Where do they live? Fucking Care Bear Narnia or something? Does it have a name?
Alsterish.
Is that it, or is that the name of a concentration?
Austria.
Oh, Austria. That's where the Care Bears live.
In one of those gingerbread houses somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I think they live in the clouds, mate. They got cloud cars and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I would have thought Hitler would deride them as being sort of an unattainable socialist ideal. Like heads in the clouds and stuff, you know.
Maybe Care Bears is like we were onto something legit, and it is actually a metaphor for Nazism.
Like Valhalla sort of thing,
like they're trying to tell you that they're all about this love and shit, but when push comes to shove, they just shoot you with motherfucking rainbows and shit. Like, no, accept our reality or die from a rainbow.
Yeah.
Pew! Just care, I'll kill you with my cares.
Yeah.
That's what these fucking bloggers on the internet trying to femsplain to us and stuff. They're sort of shooting their care cannons at us through their vagina and stuff.
Yeah, putting estrogen.
I apologise to any legit girls out there.
Any legit girls? What's a legit girl?
Well, not a third wave feminist. But you know, I can see how like normal humans could also take offence from my jokey extreme nonsense.
Well, the thing is, so long as we remember at the end of the day, we are all just fucking human beings thrown screaming into this world on a ball of rock, hurtling around the cosmos. So, in that respect, there's no reason to fucking hate any of the other prisoners on this spaceship. But some groups of them can act pretty annoyingly as well too. So, you know, what else are you going to do with your time here?
You want to be a star or a black hole, you know what I mean? You can be the succubus or the fucking bang bus. You know? I'm going to be on the bang bus in this fucking dimension, but In the next one, maybe being a succubus black hole motherfucker will be quite an experience.
Next one, you're reborn. You're the guitarist for Incubus as well. So anything can happen in the Conez universe, I suppose. But some people are doing some things. You showed me a pretty cool story a second ago about an old Mexican guy, I believe a peasant, who hadn't had anything past a 6th grade education. And what was he doing?
He built a 6-meter Aztec pyramid in his backyard.
That's pretty cool. 6.7, I think, even. It looked like one of those old school Mayan ones. And
the only thing was I didn't see anything there that said it had been aligned to any star constellations or anything.
I did. I read through it. It said he aligned it to Orion and shit.
Oh, to pay homage to the alien that he spoke to.
I believe so,
yeah,
Orion. Who told him to do it. So I think he found Orion's belt and shit and actually pointed it in a specific place in the sky. But
well, I think we've discussed how I feel about some of this alien stuff or whatever and how it relates to consciousness and seeing within yourself, or possibly seeing these machine elves of Terence McKenna and DMT and that, or it could be...
What? Machine elves?
Yeah. You not heard about that shit?
Oh, I don't know. Are these like little building blocks of our society or something?
Like
or
what you saw on DMT, that regenerating sort of flower of life pattern that seems to have its own consciousness.
Yeah. So the building blocks of consciousness.
But it seems to have life to it. Like, McKenna described it as like machine elves. I've seen it more in that kind of ever-morphing alien kind of face state that you can't put a pin on. That's why some people go to the lengths of saying it's like... I believe it's inside you, or it's part of everything and you're part of it. But some people go to the lengths of thinking that it's like these aliens that exist in a higher level of dimension that sort of exist as cyber wardens. And that's what, like, I guess that's their take on consciousness, is that it's not even yours. It's these alien cyber wardens controlling you through your fucking...
But the wardens to what? Are they like...
dimensional threshold in your brain or something?
So they're the gatekeepers to another dimensional threshold kind of thing.
They're just, yeah, sort of keeping you in line, telling some people to do bad shit. It all gets described by different people in different ways. There was Aleister Crowley, the famous Satanist,
yeah,
as well.
who inspired a lot of Scientology, I believe.
And Jay-Z rocks his fucking shirts with, like, quotes from him on there and stuff. The dude was a pedophile and a psychopath, but...
Aren't they all?
You have to take the good with the bad with some of these fucking insanos,
just
right?
like Michael Jackson. Go on, sorry.
And the dude went to the pyramids, and from the loopy fucking shit that I've read, I sort of subscribe to the idea that... Well, or like, you know, the potential idea, I'm not saying that it is the case, but that the pyramids would have a meditative quality to them, where like they've made them in specific dimensions in a certain way that if you were to say Om or something in there, or meditate in the pure blackness inside, you know, there's no light in there and
it
shit.
would be like transcendentally resonant sort of thing.
Crazy resonance, like doing this fucking meditating. That's exactly what Aleister Crowley did.
Yeah.
And just like the guy in the fucking Mexican desert, Aleister Crowley claims he spoke to a devil or an alien or whatever the fuck, right? Because he was meditating in this giant pyramid. And then he writes the book of the Church of Satan and shit with all this stuff about how it's all about how you can... It's that selfish sort of Masonic Luciferian view where you think if God left me to fucking rot here in this crazy place, Jesus is the one that goes around talking shit about Lucifer. Yeah. So obviously Lucifer's the
big
real
dog,
God, and Jesus is the fucking devil going around preaching.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd never thought of it that way. It makes perfect sense.
That's how a lot of the Masonic... Well, I'm not sure exactly if it's Masonic or if there's another aspect to it, like the Skull and Bones.
It's like the devil is real and he's winning, and we can align ourselves with it.
Those dudes actually worship Lucifer.
Yeah.
That shit's kind of legit, but when you say that, it stirs feelings in Christians because they're like, oh, Lucifer the devil. But from these guys' perspective, it's more about just being selfish in this life, and the fact that if you apply your focus in these ways and ignore the fact that you might fuck other people over, you can still get a lot out of this life.
Yeah.
And there is a lot to it, but if you delve into that kind of shit enough, you start coming to those feelings of like, what the fuck am I doing to my fellow man, if you have that kind of ability, which is why some people think the world is run by psychopaths.
Yeah.
Because they don't
they don't feel guilt or shame and stuff, It's certainly that, but I think, society as fucking technocratic as ours, people are so removed from the consequences of their decisions as well, Yeah,
it could just be like you were talking to me about before, it could just be a byproduct of like the corporation and humans just detaching themselves from a system that doesn't have any humanity. And
or the state.
Like, oh, but it's the system. It's not me. And shit.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like an excuse for our negative shit.
Yeah, it is, but we are deeply flawed creatures.
People like Genghis Khan existed, though. So, like, as anti-conspiracy as you want to be, there is bad motherfuckers that exist every now and then.
What's that thing? I think I've read something like they reckon... forgive me if you've heard this and somebody and I'm making a hash of it, but it was something like 1.5% of the population of Asia are descended from Genghis Khan.
Yeah, totally. Because he was such a, like, big dog, harem, rape everyone kind of guy, yeah.
The fine line
so,
between...
like, in terms of, like, the dynasty and in a world development sense, and you take all humanity out of it, you could, from those perspectives and stuff, treat some of these historical figures as great men. You know? Like, he was a great man because this was achieved and this happened and it led to this, blah, blah, blah. But there's that whole other side to it as well, where it's just like raping
victims,
people and just conquering and...
Well,
it's like the ongoing story. That's why it's like a lot of people come to that point where it's Luciferian and it's like, oh, there is no good and evil and shit, but don't lose it. Hang on to that love and shit, motherfuckers.
Don't strangle that kitten just yet, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all you can say. I mean, that sounds like the sanctimony of a drowning man. No, I'm just making that up. I know what you mean, because you come to this point and you're like, well, should I join the Church of Satan? Should I start worshipping Lucifer? And, it's tempting. They're door knocking in my neighbourhood and shit. They got their little bald Billy Corgan heads and stuff. And, but
they'll fucking show you how you're metaphorically drowning in the chaos and insanity of consciousness, and this guy's bringing the knowledge.
Yeah, Scientology does that too. I guess Marxism. Any belief system apart from sort of slightly high slacker cynic, I think, really is sort of incorrect.
Yeah, we got to be cynical even about our own shit. I know that I'm a kook sometimes, but it just fucks me up when I've read enough kooky shit that I know that there was some number. Like, I remembered this number. I'm like, oh, fuck. And I was thinking about these recent terrorist attacks, which are horrible, and I hope everything's cool with that shit or whatever the fuck, way you can express your condolences for some crazy shit like Brussels or
I reckon
Turkey.
Look, the only thing you can do is light up various monuments in the colours of the flag of the country that got attacked. That's the only thing we can do. That really sends a strong message to the terrorists, but go on, sorry.
But I was just considering the date that it happened, and when I looked at the date that it is in Australia, I was like, oh, it's the 23rd of the 3rd, oh, 23, and I started tripping about all this 23 numerology because it is, like, supposedly a rebirth number in the Masonic levels or something, like it's when you become enlightened or some shit like that.
322?
No, 23.
Oh, 23, okay.
And then I was like, oh, shit, it's actually the 22nd in the rest of the world, like, not in our time zones and shit over here, right? So I was like, oh, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm just being a dickhead looking for these numbers and shit. And then I was like, oh, hang on a sec, if it was the 22nd and it's March and you do it the way that the Americans list the date, that makes it 322, right? Yeah. And as soon as I thought 322, I'm like, I know I've seen that fucking number before, right?
Yeah.
So I did a Google search. And
you went deep into the mainframe.
You just write 322, that's all you write, 322 on Google image searches. And like the second or third picture that comes up is what was confirming that I'd seen in all the loopy shit that I like to look at.
Yeah.
But this Skull and Bones does actually exist. It's a fraternity at Yale for, secret members or whatever of these elite families. And they have some kooky rituals that have had the beans spilled on them occasionally and shit, where you lie in coffins at least and allegedly masturbate and tell of your sexual exploits up until that point to your masters or whatever that are like looking over you in a coffin. Yeah. They do fucked up shit. Long story short, I guess, is that on their little emblem with the skull on it, for the Skull and Bones, underneath it says 322. And I'm just like, oh shit, Illuminati confirmed! Ah! So, like, if the world works like that, it's fucking crazy, and it's like, oh my god, but on the other side of thing, like, you can put numbers on anything the fuck you want.
I know.
And just be a retard and, like, divide that by 9/11.
You could be right. What do you get? The only one of these that's solid, like, fucking freak me out to that level is the one where if you went to Wingdings and typed WTC, and it came up with, like, a bomb, a tower, and a skull and crossbones or something. That's the only one that's ever freaked me out. But
you know the other one.
What's the other one?
If you write Illuminati backwards, you write the ILLUM, what is it?
Yeah, hard.
INATI.
Yeah.
And you spell that in reverse and then write .com.
Yeah.
It takes you to the NSA website. But it doesn't mean shit. It means like some asshole bought that other website and then just uses it to link to another website to be a kook and do some funny Illuminati shit. But
I'll tell you what was dirty after Jeb Bush dropped out of the race.
Yeah.
Or maybe just before it, but I think around that time, his ownership over his web domain at jebbush.com lapsed and no one had thought to rebuy it and Donald Trump bought it. So when you went to Jeb Bush's site, it redirected you to donaldtrump.com.
Oh, what a fucking legend. That is a businessman.
Yeah.
Hate the guy, I love the guy.
Yeah. I sort of do both,
No.
Yeah.
I hate the dumb shit that he says, but if you think that he's not saying it for a reason,
Well,
and it's not the reason you think probably, but at the same time, he could be part of this whole fucking system that's already in place and he's just big dogging it for himself. He gets in there and he's playing the same game as every other motherfucker for the last 150, 200 years.
but he sort of, I was thinking today, what if it's not Trump, but what if he does pave the way for an even sort of, imagine someone who's seen Trump, but obviously it's not even so much Trump, it's that he's tapped into this enormous anger that's out there. So if there was someone who was more fucking, you know, I don't know, Hitler-like, more refined even in a bit of what they were doing. But then again, you never know.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't. The refined man wouldn't have as much mass appeal. That's almost like his mass appeal is because like he's a billionaire, but somehow he's still relating to a dock worker. You know?
Yeah. It is one of these only in America sort of things.
How does it even work? I took all your money in the 80s, but now you love me.
Philip Roth, who was a Jewish American New Yorker kind of well-respected novelist, he once wrote back in like the 60s or something, if fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in a flag and carrying the cross. And it's interesting that like Trump is coming, but it's not really to do with the Christian thing. It's more just like this tacky reality TV morals instead. Like, that's what he got wrong. Which reminds me that Gary Oldman, it was his birthday the other day, and you know, it came up on my Facebook feed, and I was like, "Oh, well, happy birthday!" I don't think about you much, Gary Oldman, but I quite like you as like, you know, an actor in a bit part. But it came up with a quote on his face on his birthday, and he said, "Reality TV is the museum of social decay."
Yeah, can't argue with that.
No, I thought, good point, Gary Oldman. So happy birthday to you.
I hope Zorg's not controlling you and making black shit run down your forehead or anything.
Fuck, that's the main thing you have. Everybody go watch The Fifth Element if you haven't seen it. It's good. It's a good movie.
Ooh, Mila Jovovich. Phew.
Yep. Chris Tucker. Ooh.
I think that was the James Cameron deal as well, where Miller ended up marrying Luc Besson.
Oh, really?
Or like at least going with him.
Well, you know.
There tends to be a thing with directors and hot actor girls.
Yeah, well, I guess someone once said that being a director is like the closest thing to being a tyrant these days. We were talking about dictators and stuff, and at first it sounded pretty fatuous, but after a while I thought, well, okay, it's not, even when you're a CEO, you have more like formal forms of responsibility and accountability. But if you're the director, you can just be like, get me this, do that, like screaming in people's faces, because it says day-to-day massive operation. You're like running the Nuremberg rallies every fucking day.
Do you reckon there's like some special couch store or online like hectic casting couches for them to actually look through as directors? Like, yeah, these are the best director casting couches you can get around.
Where they can leave their like gin martinis and shit while they
and just people. All these secrets, you know, Rehypnol and shit, like pockets in the corner.
Yeah. Which Hollywood directors do you reckon we most
and like an arm thing that opens up and it's got all the disclosure forms in there and shit to sign away your rights and stuff.
Yeah. And it's got a little jacuzzi off to the side. Oh, like nothing to do with this, but people should go watch Chinatown. It's a good movie. But yeah, no, I think maybe on the dark web there's something you can buy. I think priests might get their fucking little robes and shit from the same place.
A Catholic couch.
Sit down in the pews, my boy.
Be a lot of white and gold on it.
Yeah.
Spattered with red.
Fuck, I went to St. Peter's... So, what's it called? Fuck me if I'm wrong. St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, the head Catholic church thing. It's pretty impressive. They got a lot of gold from places to worship God. I looked at the walls and stuff, and I was like, wow, I bet a lot of suffering went into making this to justify God. But I guess that's what was happening with the pyramids and stuff earlier you were talking about.
Yeah, and they used to be coated in gold, didn't they?
Probably, I don't know. It would have looked fresh.
Yeah, there were heaps into gold back in those days.
The Sphinx had these cool sunnies on and shit, I think.
It's cool how it's like the way that gold shines is because there's so many electrons running around the outside.
Is that really it? Because I know it's really dense, right? That's what's on the scale, I think. It weighs...
Yeah, but the thing that makes it shine
is all the electrons
the
and
electrons.
shit, yeah. Well, it's a useful metal, I guess.
Sorry, that was a very fucking lame way to explain it, but go fucking look it up. I'm pretty sure it's fucking right.
Yeah. Just...
Shit, man, I forgot to take Alpha Brain again. No wonder I'm gimping so hard. Oh, shit.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, sorry. Egyptians, gold, electrons. You were saying that they were hoarding a bit of gold in Rome?
Yeah, that was my point, really. But apparently we might face a lithium shortage, I hear. Oh, no, what, is it lithium or...
Well, I heard they found a lithium vein in Afghanistan.
Oh, nice. Hopefully they go do something
but I'm
about
sure
that.
that's got nothing to do with anything, you know?
Well...
That and the heroin.
Is that Bam Margera letting out state secrets right there?
Hey, Novak, why don't you move to Afghanistan?
Motherfucker. No, I was thinking of helium, I think. People have been wasting it. Seriously, apparently there's not that many places to get it, and now that like China's booming and people are using it for stuff, it's like, oh shit, we actually wasted heaps of our helium. Doing the funny voices. Seriously.
That's fucking amazing as well, you know, because like our sun makes helium.
That's what we use for. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get though somehow. I don't know. We'll have to get a.
They're gonna be charging us for fucking air to breathe, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We need more helium. The sun is not making it fast enough. I'm sorry, I know how to science. I'm sorry.
So, yeah.
I know we're not just like putting like an umbrella with a fucking suction thing on it up into space and sucking up our helium, but maybe we should.
Maybe we should. I heard the CIA might have made the fake family for Barack Obama. Is that true?
I've seen a tab on the side of my YouTube come up with some interesting alleged facts. But yeah,
the Obamas.
There's a lot of alleged facts on YouTube.
Well, put it this way: the Obamas, CIA fake family, recommended for you.
YouTube must think I'm such a nutter. It's cool because it's on our show, our show account as well. So it's like, Conez and Doe show is just a bunch of like.
We're linked to this crazy shit, are we?
What are they, left wing or right wing? What the fuck's going on? I'm gonna break the internet with my personal choice.
Excellent, yeah. Break the internet with my personal choice. You'll have to be Kim Kardashian a fucking podcast.
Yeah, but they're like trying to like track my track and then
your dick.
Ad project to you and all this shit, and they're like sending you dick pills with tampons and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Is that because you're always on your period? Sort of thing? Yeah, the internet's fucked like that. Yeah, it sort of gets to know you, huh?
Like they're sending me Viagra and amyl nitrate at the same time and shit, and I'm like, fuck, pick one, you know.
At least recommend me some beer. Fuck. Yeah, the internet... Do you reckon there is one big guy that just sits back there looking at the internet, like visualized, manifested as like a giant TV bank?
Yeah, like that security guard in the Shake Your Ass clip or whatever?
Yeah. Fuck, what's it? Is it Basement Jaxx or fucking...
Whatever it was.
Whatever it was,
yeah. It was Shake Your Ass.
Yeah, it might be that one, actually, yeah.
Show me what you want to wear. So that was like Oscar the Grouch's child with Mr. Cow.
Yeah, Mr. Cow. Sound a bit like James Brown.
I think that's what Mr. Cow was going for.
Yeah. Danger! Yeah, he's good. Mystical, look him up. You thought him and Magic aren't the same person, right?
No, they're not.
Okay,
my
good.
friend told me that, and like I got conned for years. And
and Doe convinced me that they were both the same person. Mystical and Magic.
I thought Did What I Had To was like the greatest song of mankind because it was like a schizophrenic masterpiece because it was Mr. Cow and Magic.
Yeah.
And then, my dreams got ruined when I read the internet. But it could be a hoax. The internet obviously isn't right all the time, and I trust my friend quite a lot.
But, okay, it doesn't really... In a way, it doesn't really matter because that's the art, right? Do you think that that intent would have mattered for him making that? Or if it would...
It matters to me, because I thought, like, when I was listening to the song, I was imagining him as this maniac having two characters and seriously just writing the song himself. Like,
yeah, well, Cool Keith or even Eminem, I guess, does that a little bit and shit, right, I guess? So it might have been a bit like that.
all I really wanted was cash, but caught a fucking... So I had to spank that ass. Look at that!
Yeah, it's called Did What I Had to Do. Check it out by Mystical/Magic.
I'm sure it's probably one of those Master P joints.
About to get bop, get it good.
Like, here, lizard, lizard.
That's a good track. Alright, check that out. I heard a good thing, actually. Well,
Yeah.
it's not... It's fuck, it's
Is
going to
it
say...
a rumor? Or?
No, it's a historical sort of thing, right? I read this in a book the other day. For when the conquistadors were conquering South America, right? And they had two things that frightened the locals a lot, right? Which were cannons and horses, right?
Yeah.
That fucked up the locals. And they went through fucking killing everyone, destroying their civilizations, imposing Christianity and stuff on people. And there was one, I think, Incan chief that they'd captured and were about to burn at the stake. And they said, if you repent, then we won't burn you or whatever. And he said, no, because if I become a Christian and die, I'd hate to go to heaven where there are all these other Christians.
That's a fair point.
It's a fair point. I was like, oh,
If
that's...
you're a Cherokee or...
Yeah, if you're doing like that, and these guys are putting you to the sword.
Like, why would I want to hang out with you, cunts?
Yeah, you guys can't
You're
imagine...
going to kill me and then I got to hang out with you in the fucking afterlife?
And I know all colonialism has its all colonialism has its problems, and don't think I'm trying to downplay the British heritage by saying this. But can't you imagine those Spanish conquistador fucks being so dirty and shit? Like, these disgusting moustaches and such little ethics, praying to this fucking Satanist Pope in Rome. Anyway, that was my point.
Yeah, fuck, NAMBLA's been going on for a long time.
NAMBLA.
Yeah.
That's really what society... Do you reckon, is that the top secret prize, even above money and power? It's like
I think
boy touching?
I think the Illuminati is
It's
actually...
about boy touching,
It is
right?
actually just NAMBLA.
It's giant pedophile ring, all these kind of things,
Yeah,
right?
goes through the American government. You can look on that. You'll find it on YouTube. It goes through. What was the real one? There's the X-Files. That's legit. That's
Yep.
Belgium too, isn't it?
Yeah, that big Belgium.
Yeah,
Belgium
the
had...
X-Files. Look up the X-Files, and that'll fuck you
Yeah,
up.
Mark
because
Duret or something like that.
they were
his
going to
name was.
charge all the fucking politicians and stuff like that, and then mysteriously, no one,
It was a very
people
dodgy
went
cover-up.
away, and
Yeah.
no one got charged,
It was
even
a-
though there
yeah.
was a lot of pedophilia that seemed to be quite implied.
So, I guess Belgium is now home to fucking being Brussels, the capital of Belgium, and the home of the latest terror attacks, and the head of the European Union, and the headquarters of NATO, and the fucking grand central headquarters of the world boy-touching Illuminati fucking vigilante patrol. So, Brussels, Donald Trump in January said that it was a horrible little city, and people paid him out for it.
And if we're going down these types of rabbit holes, I'm just going to leap straight in because I don't give a fuck. But this could be fucking right, could be complete horseshit as well. But if it is such a hub for these so-called, pioneers and on the world stage for globalism and a peaceful unity of the fucking world, then how come all the shit's coming out of their hometown?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, okay, let's look at the track record of other people that are in world governments that have elite power. And I'm not even talking secret society. So we'll go back a little bit and we'll go, what happened with this stuff with the Taliban? You go around 2001, everyone seems to have the narrative down there. Oh, back in 89 to 92, around that sort of time, what happened with the Taliban in America? Oh, it turns out the CIA was funding them for that, their Cold War shit and blah, 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 armed up a bunch of people, left it for 10, 15 years, and then somehow that same group turns around and becomes a threat to the people that sort of created them.
Yeah.
And now we're in this situation where there's the headquarters of fucking NATO or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's this massive UN place. They're trying to develop multiculturalism. It's either not working or they don't want it to work, you know what I mean? And I get sus of the they don't want it to work thing because it is just it can be such a cop-out to just go with the conspiracy, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to understand the complexities of life, so I'm just going to assign this easier fucking thing.
Yeah, there's
But
an element
at
of
the
it.
same time, it's like, that is a legitimate question to be like, how come you're the world leader in anti-terrorism and multiculturalism, and it's sort of hub for all these foreign relation type things? And
well, isn't that an evidence or an argument in itself about it?
Because, on the other hand, devil's advocate, you can just say that's why it makes it a target. Because it is the place for all that. So everyone wants to come there and fuck with all the multi...
Well, sort of, if they're the headquarters of that, chances are they subscribe a lot to that ideology.
So you can go either side.
Yeah, they've implemented more policies pursuing that, and the negative effects that are arising for that are coming back more on them.
Which doesn't say a lot for their policies.
No, it says terrible about them, and that's the problem.
They're fucking crazy and they're doing some crazy shit, or their policies suck
Humans
fucking
are
ass.
flawed. It's tragedy. It's the same thing.
It's just their policies suck ass, isn't it? Fuck globalism. Fuck the UN. It's people fucking your life up.
It's people trying to think they can plan for and control a whole global population with technocratic sort of means, but to keep that to work, it relies doing some pretty fucking heavy-handed sort of things that are going to piss people off. At a certain point, there's a pushback against the idea that, oh no, it's all good, like free movement of labour, free movement of capital, like a one homogenous culture and shit. I mean, that's not going to happen. But we live in interesting times, I suppose. As for the fucking Taliban thing, it was always about fucking wider geopolitics. Though it's like, they want to keep Pakistan on side, so did this and that, and it's very complicated. It's just people dealing with other shitty humans and coming up with shitty fucking responses to it.
Yeah,
and then trying to cover it up.
It makes sense on a human level as well. I'm not always just trying to go to the extremes. There's like those examples of like back in the court days of courtiers and all that kind of stuff where that shit happened on a personal level. It'd be like they fuck. Like, who was that dude? Was it Charlemagne? I think one of the Louis the 14th or whatever the fuck. Sorry, I'm not very good with history. But he's like throwing a party, and his mate fucking throws the party for him. Is it Charlemagne?
I don't know.
He throws the party. So just let's pretend this is
Charlemagne. It's Charlemagne.
Back in time.
Charlemagne and Louis.
And what was the beautiful place? Versailles.
Versailles, yeah.
So they're throwing a party at Versailles, and fucking Charlemagne throws it for Louis, right?
Sure.
And it's the best party fucking ever, and blah blah blah.
Best party ever held, yeah.
And there's so much performing, everyone's just astounded by it and shit, and they're all praising Charlemagne how great the party that he threw was or whatever. But it was in the honour of Louis, but it was at Charlemagne's house party. Yeah. So he got all these props and stuff, but it was in the honour of this guy. So he's thinking like, I'm doing all this shit. In his perspective, he's doing all this shit for this guy. And then when he did that, he sort of like stole the shine,
the limelight and shit. Yeah.
Louis, and then Louis ends up like shaming him and then exiling him and having him fucking either executed or just left to rot or whatever. And it's kind of like those human instincts. As much as we want to deny them and shit, they do sort of play out on a world stage.
Absolutely. And what if you think that what we have now is just nothing more than court politics, but wrapped over the framework of like modern communications and technology? And that's what it is. But the court expands and it goes all the way down for, instead of like loyal followers over in like one part of the court, it'll be like newspaper men, and it's all sort of one big court. You know what I mean? But working at a global level doesn't work, but it's the old Greek tragedy, human hubris and everything like that. I know this is what I come back to, and it's not a particularly positive thing.
Hulk Hogan's giving us hope, brother.
Yeah, he sued back against it, didn't he?
Did you see that shit?
How much
I just love that. I sent something back to my brother about it. I can't remember exactly, but it was like, Gorka supports revenge porn laws.
Yeah.
And this is because technically, if you film pornography with your partner and the filming is consensual at the time, it's your video footage, so you can't really get in trouble.
Yeah.
So Gorka was a major proponent of instilling new laws to ensure that revenge porn can't be a thing. Because it is, at the end of the day, it's fucking despicable to do that to someone for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, it is despicable, so there should probably be something in place to...
Some recourse, obviously, yeah.
But Gorka supports the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Then posts revenge porn of Hulk Hogan on their website and refuses to take it down when he fucking asked them to.
Yeah.
And now they're getting sued in court. Like, it's your own fucking fault.
Totally.
You left-wing dumb fuck motherfuckers. Yeah. And I hope your business goes under. Like, that's the dumbest shit move in history. Like, you support bringing in this new dumbass shit, and then you go down for your own law. Like,
yeah. Well, the short-sightedness of the liberal left, I suppose. But
so many
they're making
fucking
so
leg
much money.
drop metaphors and shit on all the news websites.
Yeah, they had that fucking office group chat subpoenaed, and they were read out like the whole like Google chats and in court. And I saw an article about it because it was saying,
yeah, they were paying out his dick.
yeah,
and
just
all
fucking
shit.
all like,
oh my
but with
God.
emoticons and shit. And they were like, oh shit, we have to subpoena this, like all this bad shit you would say in chat, like little emoticons of dicks and shit. Like,
how do you stenography or whatever a fucking emoticon? And then it said smiley winky face. I guess you just have to write it out in English. That's going to look ridiculous.
Bailiff, please tender these memes in court as evidence.
Yeah. They should read that shit like in a dry voice on Letterman, like those old Oprah transcripts.
Yeah, they were pretty good. The Nicole Kidman Oprah one's really good if you want to check it out. Oh.
Excited, oh.
I used to bathe in the ocean near my home back in Sydney. Wow. That sort of stuff. So what else has been happening? I mean, I think we've summed up quite a lot of it. I mean, well, I guess one thing that I know is it's
So
weird.
I was just burned the torch for Kronos.
Kronos, does he govern time and shit?
Sorry, the death of Kronos, yeah.
Yeah, the death
I have conquered him.
death of Kronos. But
If you would like more information about how Doe conquered Kronos, please email the Conez and Doe Show.
indeed, do that. We've got a bit of merch, a bit of product to shift on you now that we're a bun sewing fucking success podcast.
Got Baphomet face mask.
Yep. Also, we will be sponsoring UFC 200 as well. But one thing I suppose I can put to you is that I've heard different excuses I've been reading recently about why the USSR collapsed so suddenly, in terms of, we take it for granted because we were born towards the end of it, but for like half of the century, that was geopolitically something that would never have, people didn't factor in. They assumed the USSR would be around forever, and some economists say that it was because the price of oil collapsed and undermined that oil-based economy. Other people say that it was other economic inefficiencies or sort of moral collapse, but I personally like the argument that Michael Jackson defeated communism by being really popular.
He kind of did.
He did. Zizek, the kind of philosopher, once said that communism got destroyed in Europe by bananas and pornography, and I think you can add Michael Jackson to that as well too.
Can I read you? It started off like it's in about Michael Jackson, I think. It started off as the second half to that guy's opening speech or whatever.
Sure.
I'm not sure who it was.
Obama, right?
Yeah, it must have been Obama.
Yeah.
I think it was
Barack Obama.
I think it was Michelle.
Yeah. Might have been Malia. But go on.
Okay, let's see. So I don't know. I don't know. Do you want me to voice it or not? We don't have to.
No, just tell me your thoughts.
Well, I'll read it to you because you know how disgustingly cocky and jerky I sound when I write shit.
Sure.
So I don't know if I could express the same level of conceitedness.
All right. And now the news.
Well, if I have to do it, it's the news.
Fuck.
Now it seems obvious why MJ began to act the way that he did. He wanted to either be everyone's big or little brother, teaching love by example to everyone he met. And he was crucified for it. Not one conviction. Michael Jackson was a great man in a fucked up industry. I reckon they were on top of him financially and politically until Thriller. And then he fucked them off. Beginning his love crusade against the satanic industry and their endless smear campaign and financial takedown attempts. Changing his image to that of a punk rock dictator, preaching love and community in a truer sense than any dictator before him. Michael Jackson had the international community hanging off every word, and he was preaching love and equality for all humans, especially children, who have no control over their situations. It was something that resonated with him personally. And then his career was destroyed by the allegations that have never led to a conviction. Even the settlements are signed by both parties acknowledging that Michael Jackson never admitted any wrongdoing. Yet we assume that he was a pedophile because of sensationalist news stories that led to nothing. All of this without getting into how many assets, including musical discographies such as the Beatles' back catalog, paid at apparently high 60 millions back then in the 80s. So an up-and-coming African-American billionaire with a different worldview on spirituality based on love and kindness died in suspicious circumstances just after he announced that he was about to leave Sony, owning half of Sony's publishing. And that was about to embark on a London show that would have at least generated hundreds of millions of dollars more. But he just fucked it all up, dosing himself in a daze with doctor's equipment that he usually has a professional administer for him. Truth can be stranger than fiction, but isn't this sounding really fucked up? I don't know, that just seemed like an MJ diehard. Well, doesn't really seem that legit.
You know, I want to believe. That's what Mulder said, and that's what we all want to do.
Yeah, maybe Justin Bieber's really his
protege, legacy,
clone baby.
Yeah, not quite. It's just, yeah.
If there are clones, they would be Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber, probably.
But people say this, but you can take all your Bruno Marses and all these others, you can chop them all up in a blender and like add them on top of each other, and they still wouldn't be anywhere near MJ. Like even Justin Timberlake kind of thing. You're like, okay, he's cool, he's got the moves, he can move and do this and dance, but he's just not Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, creativity and originality, because there is no real originality.
No.
Like it all is inspired from something that you've seen or done. Like,
yeah.
So at the end of the day, Michael Jackson was so fucking awesome in my opinion, like in terms of that shit. And aside from all the me just sticking by him, whether or not who knows what the fuck goes on, because I'm in Australia anyway.
Sure, you don't have access to your research tools.
I've never been to Neverland, you know what I mean? Like,
are you sure you haven't? Maybe you repressed it, and this has something to do with like your Michael Jackson thing. His ghost walking past you.
I stand with Macaulay Culkin, alright?
I don't know, I saw him in a video the other day. He doesn't look like he's standing too much. Dude looks fucked up. Maybe, what if MJ was the ultimate king of the Illuminati, though, and he was the ultimate one who got to decide which boys and shit could be touched? What if you flip the script on that? So he's above them all.
That's why when...
It was a coup of other Illuminatis, like fucking the senator stabbing Julius Caesar.
Because
the people loved him.
When Michael Jackson died, the Catholic Church went fucking buck wild because they didn't know who was on or off game anymore because MJ was running the shots.
Yeah.
And that's when all this shit has gone down with the Catholic Church because...
Yeah, it was like the USSR at the end of communism was a scramble for assets. It was all up for grabs, you know? Like the Pope picking up his red telephone.
It was a scramble for the asses. It was a scramble for the asses. There were only a little asses to go around now.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty heavy NAMBLA episode.
Yeah, but either way, that's why I think it's important to look at both sides of the issue and try and find a truth that's in the middle. Somewhere between MJ being a martyr to the world and somewhere between him being like the supreme Lucifer. But fuck, the man could sing and dance and shit though.
Fuck.
They don't make him like that anymore.
If Emma Watson had as much passion for acting as she does for modern third-wave feminism, she'd have an Oscar by now and a whole lot fucking more money, you know? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck? This is the root of the fucking wage gap myth that you can't earn the same amount as a fucking dude because, like, there's some mysterious thing blocking you. When at the end of the day, it is a personal choice thing and it is a... You know, like, it's been debunked a number of times.
Yeah.
But I just find it funny when there's these simple answers to these questions, you know? It's like, if you didn't do this fucking UN compassionate fucking humanitarian... Yeah. And I could go even further and be like, oh, stereotypically female. And
but if I wasn't...
If you weren't doing that kind of shit, you'd be making more fucking money. And then you wouldn't be complaining about the wage cap in fucking Hollywood. You fucking dumbass.
Yeah, but in terms of being fair, if you were an attractive young celebrity, wouldn't you love all this attention so much? No, I mean, I don't want to even be facetious and shit, right?
Oh my god, yes. No, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry, while I'm on a roll, fucking Serena Williams today in the news or whatever comes out and was fucking giving Novak Djokovic shit because he said... He was behind the fact that men still get paid relatively more than women in the sport of tennis, right? Mm-hmm. So her point was like, oh, how are you going to tell your kids that she just gets paid less because she's a girl, which is a fucking redundant statement because that shit doesn't exist. Because if you can prove that you make less for doing exactly the same job as someone else, it's illegal in most Western countries. Anyway, there's the whole point that if she wants to have the discussion about wage inequality within tennis, she first has to explain to the world why there is still gender segregation in tennis. And when she is able to explain that concept, she debunks her own argument. So it's just like, yes, there is an issue there because we have gender segregation in sports, but you have to ask yourself why it's there in the first place. And if you truly wanted that equal playing field thing, we would have the mixed gender sport, and then you'd be like number 400 or something, you know what I mean? Like, and you wouldn't be getting paid as much as you are now being at the top of your thing. So it's almost weighted better for you now because you could be number 150. Like, let's say she's awesome. She can be number 100 on the guys, right? Number 100.
Yeah.
I don't know that number 100 on the dudes is getting paid as much as Serena Williams is. You know what I mean? So, like, if you want to do these relative fucking games, but the essence of why I had a problem with that shit today is that you got to explain why the genders are split in tennis if you want to even have that conversation before even getting into the dudes playing more sets and playing for longer time, etc. Because like I don't really care about that. They have a point about draw, about how people are going to watch Serena over a bunch of these shittier dudes anyway.
Yeah.
That is a fair enough point, but take it all into account. Gender segregation kind of is a massive part of it, and it is because of the level playing field that it offers to the contestants.
I don't know. They've all got enough money, really, don't they?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I don't want to keep saying first world problems and shit. That's probably off one of their fucking websites. Check your privilege.
Well, Serena Williams needs to check her privilege because this little kid's starving in Africa while she gallivants around in Ferraris and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, she's an engaging, dynamic tennis player who pulls them in on the crowds. Maybe she does deserve.
And her genetics are off the charts because, let's face it, if tennis is as strictly drug tested as they say it is, she's probably clean, which means that she's just jacked, like testosterone jacked genetically. Like her biceps are fucking pumping. Like I'd want her arms sometimes, you know, when I'm not looking too swole.
You'd want... Is this Venus or Serena?
No, Serena.
Serena. Serena Williams' arms, huh?
Occasionally, yeah. When I'm not fucking doing the pumping. When I'm not coming at night. When I'm not coming.
Can they play tennis with the same proficiency as she can, sort of? Like, do you get her tennis playing ability with your arms?
When I'm playing tennis, it's like I'm coming.
Because then you could go and get up to, like, number 180 or something.
Oh, dude, the trans issue is going to be major in sports, bro. I was like, I don't know, I've heard it on multiple things or whatever, but there's a transgender, what do you call it? When they're a
Sex reassignment surgery?
dude with tits or whatever. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if you need to chop it off to really claim it anymore as well. So you could potentially still have your schlong and then...
Yeah, well, that's just transgendered, because gender's different from biological sex, they say. So gender means basically whatever the fuck I want it to be.
No, that's a mental condition. I agree. I don't accept that.
I
don't accept that.
I'm saying the theory. I'm not
even
judging
from modern journalism and even probably education, because some of these people are in the education system. I just won't accept... I won't accept that because, you know, you're rating consciousness against physicality, and consciousness is intangible and physicality is tangible.
Yeah.
So then you're trying to tell me that because it's like that old I believe in the flying spaghetti monster when atheists are paying out God people and shit, you know.
I had some questions at trivia about that the other day.
It was fun at first, but then when you think deeper into stuff about that, atheism seems just as dumb as fundamental religion. It's frustrating shit. Sorry, I got lost again. It happens.
So did I. I forgot what I mentioned.
I think I was ragging on Serena Williams. I did say I wanted her arms, though. So
yeah. Well, you know.
If you're going to call me on shit, you got to give me props for the big ups as well.
I suppose the gender pay gap is easy to be misrepresented for kind of attention.
It's a weird issue. Yeah, it is. It's a celebrity issue. It
also encourages a lot of girls, working girls and shit. They work hard and stuff. They like seeing that shit. It's a bit of red meat throwing it out to the girls reading the news, you know.
I am all for empowerment, but I'm for empowerment for the sake of progression, true progression, and learning. It's all about and the species and shit. It's like I'm not really into empowerment, so that then we can all sit. Like the male version would be like I'm now empowered to the point so that I can be on welfare, sit at home and play Xbox. That would be the extreme of it, Like
I think a lot of dudes are pretty empowered then.
How much is the check this week? Fuck. What? They're delivering Maccas now? You fucking kidding?
Yeah. Well, see, I've heard of fucking.
Give me a Big Mac.
Yeah, it is sort of the mommy state sometimes as well too. I've heard people say that for single mums, the government has become the sort of dad, like the alpha, right, going the checks and stuff. But in a way, it is sort of the mommy state that lets you just chill and play Xbox and shit.
Fuck, you're reading my mind today. You keep hitting these things that I've written disgusto things about. So what were you talking about then, IVF and shit, eh?
I don't know if I was, but go on.
The single mummy state or whatever, right?
Yeah, the mummy state, yeah.
It was about how if we want to keep the population healthy
Yeah.
in terms of genetics and shit, right?
All right.
So this is fucking dirty ground as well, I guess, because
Yeah.
potentially then people can just call me a eugenicist.
Of course, but to put it in its context, there's been a lot of discoveries in gene science over the 12, 14
Yeah.
years. It's traditionally
There's a big
been
push to it
It's traditionally
towards
been
it.
tied with sort of this idea, this Nazi type idea or whatever. But there has been advances going in science, so I understand what you're talking about. But go on.
You understand where I'm coming
Yeah,
from?
the cleanliness of the race. Yeah,
This will make you understand like what we were just talking about, what you were just talking about.
sure. It'll make me understand what I was just talking about. Sounds like a pretty awesome piece of information coming up.
Why do I have so many tabs open?
Scientists manipulate chicken embryo to create bird with dinosaur legs. Is this for real?
So yeah, don't give me shit about being a eugenicist. There's motherfuckers putting dinosaur legs on chickens right now.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not like it's a figure of speech, because I think we've learnt by now, if you grew up in the 90s and you liked Jurassic Park,
Sure,
you
as we all
would have looked a bit further into it and found out that amber doesn't actually preserve mosquito blood for millions of years.
It's a shame, huh?
Right?
It's such a cool idea.
You motherfuckers.
It's such a good idea.
So yeah, the actual way they're doing this is with gene manipulation.
Yeah.
They found which genes trigger the legs to
Microaggressions
grow, like,
and shit?
like reptilian legs
Sure.
instead of chicken legs or whatever, right?
In Chile, I noticed.
So it's got something to do with the tibia and blah blah blah. So
Okay.
like they're genetically manipulating it so the legs end up being more representative of how a dinosaur's legs were.
But that's interesting that they're doing it in Chile. I reckon they could use the Galapagos as their headquarters for the first T-Rexes and shit they make. That'll be a good spot for them. If they don't want to do Costa Rica, the island off there, because bad shit happens there.
The lemurs already look so scared. Oh, that's Madagascar. Sorry.
They look scared anyway, fuck. The sloths are just chilling.
Dinosaurs.
You know what? I think this was either a friend, Luke or Brendan, who said the other day on Saturday, I think it was one of them, that fucking sloth can starve to death because the food takes so long to get to their stomach and digest it. I'm pretty sure that.
How the fuck are they even still alive?
Yeah, they're one of those sort of retardo animals like that. But,
You and the dodo, mate. Just get the fuck out of here.
yeah, they're on their way out, which is a shame because the sloths are just chillers. Is this guy? New York City. Okay.
Yeah, some wild man. But anyway, I was just with my disgusto rant. It'd be like, if we wanted to keep the population healthy in terms of genetics, we shouldn't subsidize IVF or gay or deliberate single-parent test tube baby experiments unless they are self-funded or scientific research. It's inhumane to bring a child into the world with defects that are an outcome of a pregnancy that would not have naturally lasted to full term. We are throwing grenades into the gene pool at the extreme level of this. If you're a sad person that no one wants to fuck, why make another one?
Well,
I'm sorry. I told you I'm a writer.
and Hitler was a painter. Well,
Oh shit, I gotta write some more fiction.
I mean, I suppose, okay, can I argue against that for a second?
Yeah, for sure. Dude, like, I understand how disgustingly bigoted...
If I was one of those kind of people, I'd say, what makes you such a great genetic specimen that you can pass judgment over all of us?
I think it is my blonde hair and the blue eyes.
Well, at least you're consistent, I guess. Yeah. But still, it rubs some people up the wrong way sometimes.
Roughly 6 feet tall.
Bit of a high-pitched voice.
I'm a bit too good at that, mate.
Yeah. Well, we asked that question a while ago about whether you join. If I don't know
when in Rome.
When Rome's in you. But I read an article the other day. Actually, it was after we had our talk last week, and I got home and read it. I think on the London Review of Books, which has really good essays. And it's often from like a liberal perspective or a centrist one, and this one was called "Why Fascism is the Wave of the Future," and it was pretty convincing. It said that kind of fascism, the social base of it, was the dissatisfied middle class, you know, losing their savings, losing their kind of ambitions and stuff, but you know, not wanting to go with the kind of the workers and stuff. So that's where you get fascism from. And that's only going to happen more as robots steal people's jobs from offices.
I agree, but I don't even think that it's a resurgence or whatever. I was thinking about this, and I think I mentioned it to my parents the other day. It's really strange, because, like, we're starting to get reports now, supposedly scientific or whatever, where you've got the World War II study where Russian women that were pregnant during there's a period of like food shortage and starvation and shit, and the babies that were actually carried to full term and born after these women were like in like dire straits, like didn't have much food and shit.
Yeah.
The babies genetically gained a gene that made them hold on to protein and, you know, food and shit better, right? So when these babies grew up and it had come out of wartime and shit, they were naturally all these motherfucking fat cunts, right? Because they're holding all this food and there's no food shortage, and it's like their body's trying to prepare for this crazy starvation world.
Okay.
And then, boom, their genes are changed because the human body's so naturally good to adapting to a new environment.
Mm-hmm.
The babies end up all being fat because they're in a good, like, you know, a good civilization. This is legit. You can look this shit on the fucking internet.
So post-war Russia, they're in a better society.
So
they get more
like
food.
That.
Okay.
And then you take it back through other levels of consciousness where, for some reason, our babies can hold their breath instinctively underwater. For some reason, babies and shit like that seem to be scared of rah! You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just seems like, oh, you genetically know that some animal trying to fuck you up is bad. You know what I mean? So, when you see, like, an American politician standing at, like, a podium, and then on either side of him, he's got these two columns, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And you look closer at it, and one of them is like a bundle of sticks wrapped up. And you're like, oh, what's that? You look up the top of it. There's a fucking axe head on it, right? And it's called a fasci.
Yeah, fasci.
All of these civilizations that have been passing down or acquiring knowledge from each other, which seems like it's come from either the ancient Sumerians or further back or whatever, right? And then to Egypt and to Rome and all around the world.
Yeah, gathering
stealing
ideas.
Eagles off each other. Oh, the Nazis get the eagle. Oh, no, we'll get the bald-headed eagle. No, we'll get this eagle.
I want this eagle.
It's the big dog flying around the sky. It's the thing that everyone knows, like, that's the thing that comes down and fucks you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they use that symbolism over and over again, right? So the fact that America is still using fascist symbolism openly in today, like, and everything, there is this vague part of me that I know that, like, oh, we want to say that you're not affected by shit like that. That's not really even possible. But the vague ways that these so-called mind control or whatever techniques could work could be that subtle, where it's like you just keep seeing that Eye of Horus or whatever that was like reigning over the people for tens of thousands of years as a symbol of oppression and do what you're fucking told, and you just keep adopting that to the new culture, and it's almost like it could be genetically imprinted, so that then when you keep using these fucking symbols, you keep, you know, like subconsciously
I know what you mean.
Your people and shit.
Because it's like the aesthetics of sort of authority and stuff, but they do stir stuff up people inside, whether it's a liberal or whatever like this.
But there is science behind that as well. There is science of symbology, and humans, everyone knows that we're a super, like,
perceptive,
like
conceptual.
One of our best, like, aspects is pattern recognition.
Sure.
And that, and the thing that makes us human, which is probably being able to not live just in the moment, but consider the past and the future. So
Yeah.
that feels like what it makes us different from the animals, but you never know. Perspective's a motherfucker. So.
Yeah. Sounds almost racist. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. I guess we are pre-programmed. They're obviously, you know, we're not blank slates, but we're not fucking set in stone either, I suppose. And people on all ideologies try and stretch it one way or another just to justify whatever crazy ideas they do have. But I guess born to eat, fucking die, basically.
Yeah, we're all just trying to get into the Skin Balloon Saloon.
The Skin Bone Saloon? What is that exactly?
The Skin Balloon Saloon.
The Skin Balloon Saloon.
Yeah.
What's in there?
Your skin balloon.
What's the skin balloon?
Going in the saloon. Let's get your fuck on, man.
I thought it was some trans thing, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Which reminded me, I saw Louis Theroux's Transgender Kids the other night. And, you know, I won't get into the politics of it, but I hope this doesn't offend anyone.
Louis Theroux, the documentary.
Yeah, the documentary maker.
He's got trans kids.
No, his documentary is about trans kids.
Yeah, I didn't think he would really let that happen.
No.
Now tell me, like, why do you think it would be alright with your mum to want to be a girl when you're a boy?
Blaming it on the mum.
No, just explain it to me.
Just explain it.
Yeah.
What makes you feel that way?
You got to do it on camera, otherwise you can't chop it off.
Do you ever maybe think that that's wrong?
Sorry, we're just doing a bit.
But can I just come in here for a second? But yeah, I mean, yeah. Nice. But basically saying is that the fucking female to male teen ones look quite a lot more convincing than the vice versa. I don't mean to say that. I don't want to be hateful or anything like that, but that's just what I noticed. It seems like if they get their stuff before puberty, they almost just are like a sort of underdeveloped boy a little bit. Yeah. They're pretty convincing. Some of the others, not so much. But that's Louis Theroux, Transgender Kids. You can check that out on ABC too, probably, if it repeats again.
Yeah, if you're interested for yourself or for your child.
Louis Theroux and his Transgender Kids.
If Shaolin monks aren't just acrobats performing like a meditative hoax,
Sure.
then why aren't there any in the UFC? Like, let me see how your chi takes a left hook from Mark Hunt, you know what I mean? They're pretty little ballerinas, though. You know, twirling around and acting out some pretend invincibility fantasy with sandy concrete and cheap plywood for cool effects.
Just like an Italian soccer player. Yeah.
All as a way just to
Put them in the UFC.
advertise your
I don't know,
religious cult for mass appeal.
Maybe it's against their beliefs. Maybe they're just pussies. You know? It's true. I guess whoever is king in the ring at UFC is king of the world, basically, right?
That's why they should go in there. But yeah,
You
want to believe. You want to believe in magic. You want to believe in the fucking the easy way.
Magic.
Oh, if I just do my fucking Shaolin monk praying, I'll be able to do super flips. No, that's a lot of practice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking practice, dedication, having your hamstrings snapped by some fucking old man winching your legs apart to rip your groin and hamstrings from the bone.
Totally. It's not much against my stashed AK and a case of hand grenades, you know? Fucking hell.
But I'm not saying it's not impressive.
No.
But I'm just saying, like...
You can't do it.
You're
so good, why don't you do it?
Go join the fucking featherweight division and let's see if you can one touch of death these motherfuckers in the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, it's against my religion. But come join my religion where we teach you to death punch people. Yeah, something's up with this shit.
Yeah. So the magician always has to be at their home kind base doing it, you know? They can't just do it on the spot.
There's a good one on YouTube of this, I think I saw it through the Rogan show and shit, but ages ago, of this Hapkido master, you know, who's had a school with all these pupils and shit, and I'm the fucking master, you know, like people run at him and he just does
flips them to the side.
Yeah, Steven Seagal shit to them.
Yeah.
Like, what and they just go fucking flying, doing flips and landing on ice so they don't hurt themselves, you know.
Yeah.
And then, so he thinks he's the fucking man. And it is kind of, it's almost like this dramatic play of consciousness. You know, you've taught them. They know how to go with you, and they think that you're fucking insane.
This
so shit, they are kind
this
of
Neo and Morpheus sort of shit, yeah.
And then they bring in like a UFC fighter, and they're like, "Oh, okay, so you're like the big master guy that can just kill anyone or whatever. Yeah, okay, let's have a fight." And then they go to fight, and he punches him in the fucking face. Like I think there's a little bit of a feeling out, but then the UFC guy or MMA guy just fucking punches this dude in the face, and the guy just is like so shocked.
Maybe the Shaolin guys.
Oh my god!
Maybe
it like broke my chi force field. You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck!
What if the Shaolin monks have been agitating behind the scenes to get on UFC? The UFC won't let them because they're so scared. They're like, they've got that Eastern magic. We can't let them in the ring in the octagon at Las Vegas.
Oh, when we go inside a cage, we only fight with swords.
Yeah, that's the ancient art of caged sword fighting, practiced by the Bushido Blade Brigade, I think. Well, yeah, I mean, Shaolin monk slammed. I agree, though. I agree. Put up or shut up, right?
Yeah, sorry, everyone. I guess me writing shit down and saying it without having put much thought into it is still better than a religious person telling you what to believe, so... Because I don't give a fuck what you believe, and I don't think Conez does either. Anyone who wants to control your mind is not your friend, let alone spiritual advisor.
I don't know, I sort of give a fuck what people think. There's a little bit of ego in the podcast. You want people to listen to you, hear your views.
Yeah, but I'm just saying if they're trying to program you with one of those penguin umbrellas with the spiral, fuck, they're probably not your friend, bros.
I'll tell you what, that reminds me of a story. When I was at Movie World on the Gold Coast, right, when I was about 8, it was not long after...
The penguin took me into the Roxy Theatre and...
It was not long after Batman Returns or whatever had come out, and it was driving around like the lot at Dreamworld or Movie World or whatever, and getting all these kids in the back of like this little fucking like caged van and shit that was trawling around. I didn't want to go in there. He was fucking creepy as fuck, right? I shit you not, unless something has happened to my childhood memory. It was a penguin driving around with parents like, hey, go along, getting their kids to go up in the caged like wagon.
I've been to that place, but that didn't happen when I was there. Fuck, you must have been there on the special day.
Unless I'm such a tripper that actually...
No, you were probably there and it was the Pope's special day to come and visit or whatever.
Yeah, Pope is a penguin day, I think. Say your prayers, Leviticus. Fuck, the penguin Pope. That's scary, man. Forget the Illuminati, fuck. Imagine if the Pope was the penguin.
Fuck yeah. The Pope penguin.
Yeah, well, fucking Bernie Sanders. Oh, excuse me.
Damn!
On that vape life.
Why are you hitting so hard?
Bernie Sanders is best friends with Danny DeVito, so... You know, Pope, President, Penguin. I'm just saying that's all. I'm just saying.
And that's only 3 degrees.
3 degrees of Pope and Penguin. It's a new game.
And 3 and 3 is 33. 33 degrees Masonic. Shit!
I thought 322 was the sus number.
It is for Skull and Bones.
Well, isn't every number sort of sus in a way?
33 degree Mason. He's up there, dog. He'd be shaking your hand like this and like that.
What was that boy band? Were they 33 degrees? Like NSYNC kind of time?
Hot Boys.
Hot Boys, something like that. Fucking the guy that ran...
I was more into K-pop, you know? Like.
The guy that fucking ran that Backstreet Boy fucking machine and shit, or NSYNC or whatever, turned out to be a mad old fucking pedophile guy. The record producer. He's dead now. He lived in Florida and like this fat, like, I'm Harvey whoever kind of like record producer, and just used to like, you know, probably turn Lance Bass gay or whatever. Yeah,
it's so weird, because if you'd said that back at the time, you're a complete fuckface, conspiracy psychopath.
Yeah.
And then now it just seems like, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I knew the guy from fucking Lost Prophets was a pedophile.
So when Donald Trump comes in and he exposes 9/11 like he said he would, look it up on YouTube. Seriously. He said he'll expose 9/11. So... I'm for Trump. I'm for Donald Truth.
We're fucking doomed.
It's going to be entertaining at least, you know? Like, They fucking did it. It was the Saudis. It was the Saudis in the bushes, and I got the military rocking up. And
it was so stark. I saw today after the Belgian terror things on the news, Hillary Clinton was saying like, he's hateful. We need to tear down barriers. And he's saying, it was the Muslims. Like, it wasn't the Swedes doing it. She's wrong. I'm going to build a wall. Like, that's such fucking stark. It's going to be a fucking shit fight, this election. Like, often I was thinking about this, like...
I don't know why, but I just really hope he wins. It's because I know the whole thing is such a sham. I have no confidence in any of the other people that are running to not be part of the sham. And I know that he's such an egomaniac that he probably wants to be bigger than the big dog. You know what I mean? That aspect of it just seems like, as dangerous and sketchy and crazy as it could be. He's got the intelligence to have advisors around him if he goes in there.
Yeah.
He should be fed all the information that he can't deal with.
Yeah.
And then the stuff that he can deal with. Oh my god!
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
There's going to be I don't know.
Well, if, you know...
I don't want to put the words in my own mouth, but people have been shot before and it kind of feels fucked up.
Fucking someone pointed out the other day about, like, there was in a discussion I read about body types of politicians and how it relates, right? Like, skinnier ones, either endomorphs or ectomorphs or whatever, but apparently the more fucking bulky you are and stuff, the more worked out.
More power you have.
Yeah, the more conservative or whatever you are, whereas liberals are off... Yeah,
it's like if you're a boy band producer, you're a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas these cool guys like Stallone and shit, you know. But the real man likes Sylvester Stallone. Fuck, what was my point? But yeah, so it correlates a bit. But here's my point. But they were debating Trump's thing, and they were like, oh yeah, he's obviously got a bit of upper body bulk, especially because it's added by that bulletproof vest he's always wearing. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, that's a good chance.
Yeah, you would be, yeah.
There's a good chance that could actually be the fucking case. So, whatever.
He'd be wearing that fucking suit out of the Street Fighter movie that Bison has on. So he gets shot and then he falls on the ground and it's like... Just resuscitates him, he stands back up like, Trump!
To be honest, I think you're expecting too much from a Trump presidency.
He's going to be flying around on his little Trump throne drone.
Imagine, like, all these liberal establishment things running these articles. I see, like, why are people voting for Trump and supporting him? I just thought it'd be cool if your answer was submitted to them.
It's going to be rad. He's going to be like the president out of Spaceballs. Like, hey, President Screw. And then he's just, like, sniffing his own air and shit, you know? Like, ew! Although on Earth, I guess he's just going to be going with his own farts and shit. But.
Yeah, wafting up, baking him up in the West Wing. Fuck, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, the stats I've seen say that he can win if he can flip a lot of votes in the kind of Great Lakes Rust Belt region. He has to if he can get a certain amount of white male votes, he can flip those votes and win, because Hillary's not doing so hot with the white males. But, we'll leave that for another night, I suppose. I think we've got into that.
Maybe you can make another quick economic turn and just pay to get in.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's how you know a man's real honest. If he can pay for his way to the presidency, then he's not going to be bought by anybody.
Well, if he can pay his way in, he's worth it.
Yeah, fucking... Do you reckon he has to lie in the coffin and touch his dick a bit as well?
Oh, dude, he has been to the coffin. No, I have no idea.
You heard it here first. Trump's been to the coffin.
Has he? Did he go to Yale?
I don't know. He went to some, I forget where it was. He went to a military academy, but I think he got a degree. All of his kids have good degrees from high up places. So
I think he went to Hulk Hogan College, brother.
Hulk Hogan College in Tampa, Florida.
Big dicks and fuck you. That's their motto on the shield.
Sweaty nuts and postgraduate. Yeah, that sort of shit. But I think we've said everything we need to say to this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we've leg dropped feminism through the floor, brother.
I don't want to make it out like that's our only enemy.
It's not an enemy at all. And when I call it just by feminism, it just offends everyone too much. But
yeah. Listen,
you know what I'm talking about. It's not you. It's not you if you're listening.
Yeah. It's just the whole thing. It frustrates us all.
If you got up to this point, it's definitely not you.
So that was the Conez and Doe Peace Cast tonight. I think it was about building bridges of reconciliation. I think tonight's episode was. It was about Nelson Mandela being released on that clear July day, released from his prison on Robben Island to the adoring throng of admirers and, you know, breathing the air of freedom and launching a new South Africa for everyone. I think that's the sort of mood that we really try to talk about here in the Conez and Doe Show.
Yeah, and we'll wish peace for the fucking poor souls that had to get picked up by the comet that flew past last night and taken away.
Did that actually happen?
I don't know. I'm just making a nice way for all those people's souls to escape Earth in some metaphorical way instead of, you know, dealing with the fact that they just got blown the fuck up in some airports and shit for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But we got into it a bit. I guess it could be covert reasons.
Could be overt
dumb
reasons.
Shit overt reasons, yeah.
Could be conspiracy, could be the folly of man.
Or row your boat might just actually be the most profound song you've ever heard in your life.
Alright, that was Conez and Doe, and here is Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
Alright, see you, brother.
Manly pumps through my veins, Easton is coming. My heart is into this, my pen is running. Don't see my cousin, almost my fam. They better left anonymous, and when you leave the scene, you better check your shoulder. Snakes at the pit, I'm fucking sick of it. Can't wait to deck it out to the lair and hit the spinach, bitch. I've walked the same block since I learned to do it. Early love for music, from previous life, devious life. Feeling this genius, right? See the side, I get it right when I'm holding the mic. Hit the pipes on the nights when it's down, I don't shoot. You pump jump while I spit truth. But what? I banged the rage machine back in 92, and now I'm in the room without a view. It's cool when I'm through, that's a rap, kid. And when you drop it, I'ma pick it up. I don't hesitate, I don't fake my shit. I can't wait, I'ma break. I'm coming straight to the face with this brace. I don't miss. Jet, you little bitch, I don't play, way gone. Do it later, no tip, but when I smoke out the wheels you can't see in. Like I was doing business, fucking chronic. 2 times I want it, pass it to the butterholic and watch it burn to nothing. You learned enough, yet enough to come down. Unless you're down, come round and meet the ground again. Give it to you quick, smoke a spliff, get lost, get high. Gotta get a bitch, get rich, fulfill my legacy, destiny. Gotta keep a combination of hits like this. Get back, what's this? Resign a life tonight. I always got it, I'm never gonna give it to ya. And when I'm feeling manly summer, I'ma bring it to ya. I'm rocking rusty chains and don't change, cause the beat's coming through, playing your brain. You sound the same, flat, shitty and shallow. Don't sweat it, you wanna look pretty for your last night, you bitch. Get lifted off your feet, cause I'll see you sometime before you see me. Never change growing up, keep your heart straight. Stay smart, employ power hits like Michael Slater. Collect consumers, collaborate currency. I'm the reason you ain't slinging on the street, cause I don't know you and you don't know me. Get lifted till you see the worldwide mentality. Constant elevation like a grave digger. And when I feel it coming on, I'ma take you home. After the tension is through, smoke a cigarette and get ready for the long haul. This is the dominant frontline, mercenary rapper. I'll never back down to a bitch. Holding mics like I'm holding the heartbeat. Close to my youth. When it happened, we chased him out of the hood and home. And now I know where you sleep at night. Comfort zone where I don't need chrome to end it quick. Next snapping Navy SEAL shit, I'm on the real shit. You might win but everybody loses. Preluding from my training days, and made it pays to see mistakes and take the cake now. Discover new shit later, we'll make it up later. Live it now, cause later's just a word, and eternity ain't physical. I'm only happy when I rhyme, man. All the time, man. You know what? I'm only happy when I rhyme, man. All the time, man. Cause when I'm down, might as well be fucking dead. I might as well be fucking dead. My heart's still in it, My feet are kicking, my arms are swinging. I bring the pain to the mic and never give it up. Give it up, live it up, sniff it up, hit 'em up, bit of bud, bit of luck. What the fuck? I'm getting edgy. Pledge steadily if you wanna get through to me. Join the infantry, the front line forever until death do our part with the physical. I'm the individual, depressed but not cynical yet. Your minimal threat has got me set to rhyme with the best. You're pitiful, man, these seconds are critical. Decide how you're gonna use your adrenaline boost. You better run like a deuce coup, or it's for nothing. I'm only happy